So today's session will run exactly from 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. To save on time for questions you may have, kindly use the chat box at the right side of your screen and we will entertain comments and questions at the end of the session. This session is actually very exciting since our speaker will also teach us later some exercises for our Vegas. So this session is very interactive and surely we will learn a lot this morning. With that, let us now proceed with today's session on how to train your Vegas. Our speaker for this session is Dr. Angelica Lorenzo. Doc Eka artfully blends her training and education from the UPPGH Institute of Functional Medicine, Heart Math Institute, and Center for Mind Body Medicine, and her own self studies in the Metaphysical Guide to her patients in discovering the root causes of their conditions, then help empower them to regain and retain their health and well being. Already a board certified general internist, heart math certified trainer, and working towards her certification in functional medicine, her desire to weave together Western knowledge with Eastern wisdom has made her a perpetual student on the path of lifelong learning. She practices at Life Science Center in BGC and BioBalance Institute in Shangri-La Mall. She's part of the care team at Go To Health, an online functional medicine clinic where she teaches mind body medicine in modular courses to patients enrolled in their health programs. With that very colorful introduction, I would like to welcome Doc Eka Lorenzo. Good morning, Doctora. Oh, Doc, your mic might be on.
Hi. Hi. Okay. Can you see me? Can
Yes, yes, Doc.
Hi. Good morning po. And I guess let's get right to it. Thank you for that in introduction. Let me just move to. Are you seeing the screen? Because I can't see anyone else.
Yes, Doc, we can view it.
Sana. Okay. So I guess hindi ko kayong makikita, no? Gusto ko sana kayong makita. Okay. So, welcome everyone. Good morning po. Yung topic natin today is how to train your vagus. And vagus is the vagus nerve. I'll introduce ko kayo dyan. And later on, sabi nga ni, magtuturo ako ng exercises na pwede natin gawin on a daily basis to help us strengthen yung vagus nerve. So, I'm sure kilala nyo tong dalawang characters na to kung baka napanood nyo or kung may mga anak kayo at pinanood to, si Hiccup at saka si Toothless. Right? So, yung next 1.5 hours or 1 hour natin this morning, ang goal ko is ipakilala sa inyo yung sarili nyong dragon, yung sarili nyong toothless, na yung ating vagus nerve. Para meron tayong kasama at kakampi sa mga challenge na kailangan natin harapin. Okay, so yung overview natin, simple lang yung ating session today. So una, papakilala ko sa inyo kung sino yung vagus nerve at saka ano ba yung role niya sa ating katawan, sa ating kalusugan. So yung vagus nerve siya yung pinakamahabang nerve or ugat sa katawan. And makikita niyo dito sa picture na to, lahat ng iba-ibang organs na meron, nagpapadala siya ng branches or meron siyang innervation din sa mga organs na to. So, makikita nyo na lahat talaga ng vital organs involved yung vagus nerve. So, yung puso, yung lungs natin, yung buong digestive tract, pati yung reproductive organs. And yung role ng vagus nerve, siya yung information highway. So, yung two-way traffic, 80% ng traffic is galing sa organs natin papunta dun sa brain. So, yung vagus nerve siya yung paraan kung paano nagko-communicate yung organs natin to the brain. And then 20% nung information na tinatransmit niya galing naman sa brain papunta sa organs natin. Okay? Ito yung ibang parang snapshot ng role ng vagus nerve sa iba-ibang organs. So sa heart, involved siya sa pag-decrease ng heart rate natin. Sa liver, may kinalaman siya sa insulin secretion, sa pag-control ng sugar. Sa gut or digestive tract, at talagang involved siya sa kung paano natin tinutunaw or dinadigest yung ating mga kinakain. May role din siya sa immune system. Right? Meron siyang anti-inflammatory na effect. Ito, hinighlight ko yung sa brain kasi alam ko marami sa atin ngayon since last year, dahil dito sa pandemic na to, a lot of us are feeling anxiety. May ibang mga tao, they've experienced depression na rin. So the vagus nerve also affects the brain in helping keep those anxiety and depression at bay. Sa mouth, meron ding involvement yung vagus nerve, primarily sa dila. Isa siya dun sa nerves na nag-innervate ng dila, and then kailangan siya for these very essential na functions, yung gag reflex, yung paglunok, coughing, okay? Tapos sa blood vessels, it helps decrease vascular tone. So yung vascular tone involves sa blood pressure. Pag mataas masyado yung vascular tone, high blood, constricted yung blood vessels. So snapshot lang to, and then I want to share some, medyo technical muna tayo ng konti. Gusto ko lang pakita sa inyo na yung research sa vagus nerve sa yung role niya sa katawan, yung papakita ko snapshot in the recent mga 2 years or 4 years. So, but ito, sa psychiatry journal na to, highlight nila na may role yung vagus nerve sa pag-modulate ng inflammation. May role siya sa pag-maintain yung gut health natin. Tingnan nyo, merong role ang vagal tone sa food intake and weight gain. Di ba maraming tao, either ang pinaproblema nila, hirap silang magpapayat, meron namang ibang mga tao, hindi sila tumataba. And yung vagus nerve, meron din siyang role doon. And then because this was a psychiatry journal, okay, yung isang very important nila is merong role yung vagus nerve sa pag-develop ng psychiatric disorders. Okay, so minsan iniisip natin na yung, let's say, yung anxiety and depression, it's all in the mind. Parang ang problema is more sa pag-iisip, but actually meron din siyang basis sa katawan and involved yung vagus nerve doon. So ito nakalagay dito pati obesity, saka iba pang mga stress-induced and inflammatory diseases. Yan, usually magkakabit yung stress at saka inflammation. Parang vicious cycle, they feed off each other. And at the end of the review, yung isang conclusion na shinare ng authors is that if you modulate yung vagus nerve, meron siyang therapeutic effect. Primarily kasi nakaka-relax siya. Meron effects sa relaxation. And then also meron siyang anti-inflammatory properties. Just parang pumili ako ng 8 studies kapag ginugel. Pag hinanap niyo sa PubMed, yung vagus nerve, libo-libo yung lalabas na research. And I just wanted to show, for example, dito, they're looking at the vagus nerve and yung cardiovascular system. And matagal na actually ginagamit yung vagus nerve stimulation for treatment. Pero yung mga dati is, merong surgically may i-implant sila na electrode to stimulate the vagus nerve. So invasive siya. But over the years, ngayon, for example, ito, transcutaneous na. Ibig sabihin, hindi na kailangan surgically i-implant. Pwedeng through the skin. May ipapatong lang sila na electrode sa skin, magpapadala yun ng electric impulses to the vagus nerve para ma-stimulate siya. Okay, so meron na nga ngayon mga consumer level device. Meron kang pwedeng bilhin na earphones na pag ginamit mo yung earphones na yon, you listen to specific music, but yung earphones na yon will send electricity to the branch ng vagus nerve na nasa tenga. Okay, so there are different ways to stimulate the vagus nerve. Ito, hinighlight ko yung mga hinighlight ko para pakita na, okay, so yung vagus nerve stimulation sa interface ng brain and gut interactions. Di ba ngayon, more and more yung nakikita natin yung importance ng gut health. Probiotics, marami ng mga probiotics ngayon sa market, nakikita na natin kung ano yung role ng good bacteria sa ating health. And dito sa 2019 na study na to, pinakita lang nila yung involved again yung vagus nerve dun sa communication between the gut and the brain. And then ito very recently, last year lang, because of the pandemic, there are already some researchers looking at how do we use yung non-invasive na vagus nerve stimulation to help with the respiratory symptoms sa COVID-19. So, tinitingnan na rin nila yan. Ito, 2014 pa to, but I put this here also to show na yung research, tinitingnan din nila hindi lang sa mga may sakit. Okay? Kasi yung mga, hindi ko nabanggit, ginagamit yung invasive vagus nerve stimulation sa epilepsy to help control yung seizures. At dito nga sa cardiovascular system. Pero ito, tinignan nila yung effect ng vagus nerve stimulation sa mga taong walang sakit, sa healthy humans. And nire-reduce daw yung sympathetic nerve activity, which is yun yung i-explain ko dito sa slide na to. If hindi pa kayo familiar, or baka familiar na kayo, baka narinig nyo na yung fight or flight response or yung stress response. So, itong si sympathetic and parasympathetic systems, branch yan ng tinatawag natin na autonomic nervous system. Yung autonomic nervous system, parang siya yung in charge sa lahat ng mga automatic na nangyayari sa katawan natin. Tapos meron dalawang parts, si sympathetic at si parasympathetic branch or arm. Yung sympathetic, yan yung in charge sa ating survival. Okay, siya yung nag-activate ng stress response or ng fight or flight. So, pag any danger, if may any danger or threat to you, or perceived threat, kahit hindi siya talagang threat, pero tingin mo, threat siya sa'yo, ma-activate yung ating stress response or fight or flight response. Okay? Hindi ko masyadong i-discuss kung in detail yan. But yung mga, imagine niyo, isipin niyo pag nagulat kayo, natakot kayo, nagalit kayo, or nervous kayo, ano yung mga nangyayari sa katawan niyo? Yun yung effect ng sympathetic nervous system. Bumibilis yung tibok ng puso, tumataas yung blood pressure, pwedeng medyo nanunuyo yung bibig. So, kunyari, kanina, medyo nanunuyo yung bibig ko kasi hindi ko makita yung mga kausap ko. Hindi ko alam kung ano yung reactions nyo. Ninenervous po ako pag ganun. Mas gusto ko yung may kausap akong nakikita. Kaya kung napansin nyo, ang bilis ko magsalita kanina. Kasi ninenervous pa ako. Okay? Ano ba ibang nangyayari sa sympathetic response? Mga hormones, nag-iiba yung balance ng hormones. Tumataas yung cortisol na stress hormone. And maraming downstream effects yun. Nagiging mas malapot yung dugo natin. Kasi dati, nung nag-evolve tayo, kung hinabol ka ng, let's say, sinuwag ka ng kalabaw, diba? Kasi hindi mo natakasan. Kailangan mabilis lang at nagkasugat ka. Kailangan mabilis lang mamuo yung dugo. Kailangan mag-blood clot siya agad. So that's yung malapot ang dugo, that's actually one of the survival responses of the body. Diba? So pag nagkasugat ka, dapat mag-stop agad yung bleeding. So marami pang iba, but yun yung isang effect ng sympathetic nervous system. Sanay na sanay tayo dyan. Nafe-feel natin lahat yan. Okay, itong parasympathetic nervous system naman, ito dapat actually yung baseline natin. Dapat nandito tayo. Kasi siya yung in charge kung si sympathetic is to do with surviving. You need to survive. Yung parasympathetic, siya yung to do with thriving. So, siya yung may kinalaman sa regeneration, restoration, and kaya yung nickname niya, rest and digest. Kasi kailangan natin magpahinga. Tapos importante, to digest. Kasi para mag-repair ng katawan, para mag-grow, kailangan natin i-digest kung ano man yung kinakain natin para ma-absorb natin yung nutrients or yung sustansya galing sa pagkain na yun. So, dapat ito talaga yung baseline natin. Pero, karamihan sa atin, stuck dito sa sympathetic, sa stress response, lalo na since last year. Or yung iba sa atin, even before the pandemic, stuck na dito. Marami tayong stuck. Yung ahas na yan, na fight or flight, right now, yung mga humahabol sa atin na threat, puro invisible eh. Diba? Si COVID, invisible siya na virus. Yung mga demand sa work, yung mga bayarin sa bahay, lahat sila invisible. Hindi natin sila nakikita. So, saan ka tatakbo? Or sinong lalabanan mo? So, yung fight or flight response, you're perpetually there. Hindi nawawala yung danger. And kung gagamit ako ng analogy, parang yung dalawang kamay natin, yung sympathetic sa yung parasympathetic na branches ng nervous system. Parehas natin silang kailangan. Pero, so yung mga right-handed dito or yung usually naman majority right-handed. 'Di ba? Kung ano man yung dominant hand mo, pag yun at yun yung ginagamit mo, yun yung mas malakas, yun yung mas may finesse yung movement. 'Di ba? Kung right-handed ka, pag nag-toothbrush ka sa right hand, automatic na yan. Pero pag ginamit mo yung left hand at nag-toothbrush ka, hindi siya sanay. So, pwedeng nasundot mo yung alangala mo, nasundot mo yung sa gilagid mo, di ba? It's clumsier kasi hindi mo siya nagagamit. So, ganun din, in a way, ganun din yung nervous system. Kung lagi natin ginagamit yung isa or laging activated yung isa, stronger siya. Tapos medyo mas mahina yung kabila. So, lahat tayo malamang very, very strong ngayon yung sympathetic activation. I hope clear naman yung two branches. And sabi nga dun sa mga, I think ko pa rin napakita, but in the research, the vagus nerve is really involved dito sa parasympathetic arm or branch ng nervous system. Yung title ng talk ko is How to Train Your Vagus Nerve. Vagus lang pala, sorry, kasi yung play off of the How to Train Your Dragon. But basically, I want to teach you exercises to train your vagus nerve. And I'm sure baka maisip nyo, paano ko magtitrain ng nerve? So, ang tanong, pag meron tayong any skill, any new skill that we're learning, and I wish I could see your chat responses, but ano ba yung tinitrain natin? Muscles or nerves?
Yes, everybody can try answering,
Try
and
answering.
we'll view your answers in the chat box. So when we learn something new, will it be the muscles or nerves that's learning it? We have the first answer. It's muscle.
Mm-hmm.
Both. A
Both.
lot of people are answering muscle.
We always think, we tend to think it's the muscle, but really, what we're training is the nerves, which send signals to those muscles. So, imagine, di ba yung mga baby, pag lumabas sila, pag pinanganak sila, gumagalaw na yung arms and legs nila, right? Gumagalaw na yung muscles nila. Pero it takes a while for the nerves and yung wiring ng nerves na yon to develop before they can roll over, hold up their head, or start crawling, right? So the muscles are already functional, but we need time for the nerves to develop, the connections to be made. And in the same way, on the other end of the lifespan, let's say yung mga pasyenteng nasa-stroke, 'di ba? Lalo na kapag major stroke, mapaparalyze half ng body. Hindi naman yung muscles yung may problema. Actually sa brain, but also so the brain sends the signals to the nerve. So just to emphasize na it's actually nerves that we're training. It's the nerves that we're training to fire together. Meron niyang tagline na nerves that fire together, wire together. Right? So etong picture ng keyboard, so I want you guys to think, sino dito yung mga marunong mag-touch type, and sino dito yung hunt and peck ang style. Yung dalawang daliri lang, index, pero mabilis pa din. Right? Nung bang nag-aaral kayo mag-type, inaral nyo talaga na gawin yung touch typing. Alam ko tinuturo, nung high school ako tinuro na yun pero typewriter yung gamit namin. Yung hindi ka nakatingin, tapos nagta-type ka lang. And then yung iba, nasanay na, yung hunt and peck, meron akong kilala. Ang bilis niya mag-type, pero ano siya, the 2 index fingers lang yung gamit niya. So again, in those cases, you've trained your hands via your nerves, right? Kung paano siya gawin. And minsan, yung mga nakasanayan natin gawin, for example, yung hunt and peck, yung 2 fingers lang, yung index fingers yung gamit mo to type. It works, right? But it's not exactly the most efficient way to type. Diba? So, meron mga bagay na habits tayo na yun yung nakasanayan natin. So, yun yung madali para sa atin gawin. Pero hindi yun yung pinakamaganda sanang paraan na gawin kung ano man yung bagay na yung skill na yon. Again, but again, because nerves that fire together, wire together. Over time, meron ka ng muscle memory or really it's nerve memory. Okay, nagiging automatic na siya. And that's also what, so kung kilala nyo tong Olympic athlete na to, dapat pala pinalitan ko ng picture. So, dapat si Heidelin yung nilagay ko. But okay, Olympic athletes. Anong pinagkaiba ng Olympic athletes sa mga, ito si Usain Bolt, runner. Anong pinagkaiba niya dun sa mga sumasali ng fun run or once in a while nagmamarathon? Ano yung tingin yung difference ni Usain Bolt sa mga yon? Or ni Heidelin Diaz sa mga nag-gym, nagbubuhat sa gym? Anong difference ng Olympic athletes? And walang right or wrong answer. I wanna know what people are thinking.
Ako, Doc, for me, I think that these Olympic or professional athletes have to train every day. So their, I don't know, their muscles or their nerves are more adaptive to that type of action or whatever they're doing as opposed to normal people.
Yes. Okay, so it's training. They're training and training over and over. And it's, if you think about it, hindi lang yung physical yung tinitrain nila. Yes, they're training their muscles to move certain ways. But in addition to that, they're also training their mindset. They're also training their emotions. You know, there's a certain way to approach yung training or yung sport nila. So, they're repeating all of these things. So, yung point na gusto kong gawin dito is whatever we're experiencing, whether it's a physical action, it's a mental response, or it's an emotional response, whatever you're experiencing over and over and over again actually becomes habit. The nerves that are firing together are wiring together. Okay? So, ang totoo nito, yung vagus nerve natin, tinitrain na natin yan. Yung title ko, How to Train It. Actually, we're all training the vagus nerve, except we've been doing it unconsciously. And we're kind of training it in the, parang, inefficiently. Okay? So, ano ba muna yung mga challenge ng vagus nerve natin? So, kung kilala niyo yung dragon na yan si Bewildebeest. Okay, so merong mga internal challenges. So for dun sa using this analogy, 'di ba si Toothless, nakakalipad siya, pero kulang siya ng tail fin. Pero nakakalipad siya. Pero nung ginawan siya ng tail fin ni Hiccup, mas umayos yung paglipad niya. So ganun din, meron tayong mga internal challenges na hindi natin napapansin, we take it for granted kasi parang we don't see any problem with it. But there's ways to improve that. So for example, the pattern of our breathing, kung chest breather ka ba, kung mababaw ka huminga, marami tayong ganyan, chest breathing na shallow breathing. Kamusta naman yung posture mo? And I'll discuss more of that later. Paano ka kumain? Do you eat very fast? Hindi mo minungay ang pagkain mo? Do you drink water with your meals? So these are some examples of internal challenges to your vagus nerve. Tapos, merong mga external challenges. Ayan. Social. Lalo na ngayon, yung everything that's on the internet generates a lot of fear. Right? Kahit saan ka magpunta, except maybe Netflix. But, you know, with everything that's going on, yung news, especially ngayon with like the Delta variant and nababadyang mag-surge ulit or mag-ECQ ulit, it really generates a lot of fear. It pushes us into that sympathetic stress survival mode. And then even, you know, the things that come with the pandemic, yung having to adjust from working from home, for the parents na may kids na kailangan mag-online class sila while they're working from home, so kung ano-ano pang ibang demands and pressure. So all of that puts, parang it's a challenge to the vagus because these things, these external challenges push us into that survival stress, you know, fight or flight mode. Ito, nilagay ko to kasi ito yung feeling, diba, yung buong pandemic, parang ganito yung feeling, diba, nakakapanliit, yung anong gagawin ko, there's this element na you kind of feel helpless and hopeless. Okay, so I wanted to put that in because all of us are experiencing this. And yung isang gusto ko sanang ma-share with this session is how to strengthen our vagus nerve to help us counter yung effects ng situation na to. We can't do anything about the external, really, but that's kind of out of our control. Pero yung internal factors, that we can do something about to help strengthen yung vagus nerve yan, to kind of train, nandito si Toothless nagtatago, to help us train and face, the world, the new world. Here's, dun kanina sabi ko sa posture, I will talk about more. Here it is. If you've heard of text neck syndrome, I don't know if you've heard of that, but there's such a thing. And marami siyang pwedeng i-cause na issues. But ang gusto kong focus dito is if you look at this x-ray, you can see na yung cervical spine, yung vertebra dito sa neck natin, they're stacked one on top of each other. You have your head up. And yung weight ng skull and ng brain and ng head is transmitted down that spine, all the way down to the rest of the spine, and eventually, if you're standing up, down through the legs to the earth. So the erect spine is carrying that load of the head and the brain. And the muscles here in the neck, they're fairly relaxed. Ang role nila is to turn the head laterally or side to side. They're not really carrying any weight. Okay? So yan yung dapat tamang posture. Ito yung posture ng taong nagte-text or taong nakayuko sa laptop niya, or also ito yung posture ng when you see someone who's nakayuko or nakahukot, in terms of body language, what does that usually signify? Kung may makita kang taong nakayuko, what emotions come to mind?
Yeah, maybe you guys can chat what you feel kapag nakayuko kayo, or like what you feel or what what you think you see, diba?
More of not really what you feel kung nakayuko kayo, but let's say may nakita kayong tao or kaibigan or nakayuko, forward posture with the shoulders hunched. What would you think? Ano yung usual na may isip mo na nararamdaman ng taong yon?
Sir David Mendoza said natanggal daw ang sintas usually kapag gano'n.
Pwede naman. Pero
Yes.
hindi yung emotion, David.
Or Miss Gracie mentioned that she or he may not be feeling well or maybe sick, shy or sad.
Mm-hmm. So shy, sad, maybe
Confident,
natalo, disappointed.
burden.
So the main point I want to make is, yes, this is a posture that we take while we're texting or working on our laptops or working on paperwork over the desk. But this is also a posture that comes naturally when we're feeling emotions na draining. Kung malungkot ka, kung natalo ka, disappointed ka, pinapagalitan ka ng boss mo, or kakaaway nyo lang ng boyfriend or girlfriend mo, or so the posture can be something you assume voluntarily, but it's also something we assume involuntarily. And I guess I'm getting ahead of myself, but the other parang point I want to make is with yung postures, because there's something we assume physically, but also it's something that happens triggered by our emotions. Pwedeng the other way can happen, where hindi ka naman talaga malungkot or disappointed, or you're not feeling that emotion, but because you're always spending the time in this posture, it actually can affect your moods and your emotions. I think I jumped ahead of myself, but our posture affects our moods and our emotions. And siguro a good way to have you guys experience that is if you can all kind of hunch over and kunyari nagte-text kayo. So hunch over, text kayo, or okay, so you have your shoulders hunched forward, your head is bent down, and then I want you to try and say with feeling, I'm happy.
I'm happy.
I'm so happy.
I'm
With
so
feeling.
happy. I hope everybody's trying it with
You
me.
try that.
Yes.
Okay, and then I want you to sit up with your shoulders straight, a little back, with your head up, maybe looking a little upward, right? And say, ang lungkot-lungkot ko. Ba't ba ganito? With feeling.
Very acting pala to, Doc, no? Ang lungkot-lungkot ko. I'm so sad.
Ano daw sasabihin si Gina? Ang galing
I
mo.
hope everybody can turn on
Sabihin
their
niyo.
mic. Maybe we can do this all together.
Do it all together.
Yes, so parang
Sabihin niyo ha, head up, shoulders back. Ang lungkot-lungkot ko.
ang lungkot-lungkot ko.
Ang lungkot-lungkot ko.
Trying
Diba,
to
may narinig ako tumatawa, nakakatawa siya. Bakit? Ba't siya nakakatawa?
parang
Or
hindi,
yung,
Doc, parang your back is straightened and then you feel sad. Parang hindi lang siya tugma with the physical and the emotions.
yes, exactly. There's a disconnect because the emotion you're trying to portray, hindi siya tugma dun sa physical posture. So the point I want to make is our postures can also affect our mood. Just the posture. And that's why, for example, sa public speaking or let's say sa yung mga John Robert Powers, nagte-training, classes, there are power postures where if ninenervous ka, before you speak in front of an audience, you're advised to, stand up straight with your feet a little apart, with your head back, and that immediately makes you feel more confident. Okay? So I jumped ahead of myself to explain that posture affects our emotions and our moods. But going back to this text neck syndrome, related naman siya. What I wanted to to point out here is that when we're in this posture, mapapansin nyo, yung bones, hindi na sila stacked one on top of each other. Right? And the weight of the head is no longer being transmitted down that column of the spine, the column of the bones. And the muscles here will need to contract more. They need to kind of pull up that head and support its weight. And so magtataka ka, hindi ka naman siguro magtataka. But at the end of the day, lagi ang sakit ng leeg mo, medyo tight yung shoulders mo, gusto mo magpamasahe. Okay? So the muscles become constricted. And di ba, if we're holding a position if you're holding your let's say your hand in one position for a long time, nangangalay yung muscles. They stay constricted, the blood supply to them becomes impeded or parang impaired. Okay, and I'll go to another illustration just to show. So ito yung cervical spine, yan yung bones natin sa neck. And ito yung tamang position, di ba? And ito yung vertebral artery that runs through holes in the sides of the spine. So, can you imagine kung ano yung position ng spine mo, it also affects yung course nitong artery na to. The vertebral artery supplies, the one I want to emphasize, it supplies the brain stem. And yung brain stem, doon nag-originate yung mga what's called the cranial nerves. And specifically, si vagus ang ating star nerve ngayon. Si brainstem is where the vagus nerve originates. And if you have impaired blood flow or blood supply kasi na-kink, na bend out of shape, na-compress siya because of the posture, then hindi makaka-function ng maayos yung nerves. Diba? Medyo self-explanatory naman yun. Na pagkulang ng blood supply, magkakaproblema ka. Ito yung gusto kong pakita dito kasi ito yung ituturo ko sa inyo mamaya. The exercises we're going to do will help us realign itong si C1. So C1 siya yung first vertebra natin. And si C2. Okay? And then the skull kind of sits on top of C1 and C2. And you can see how the vertebral artery, ano yung relationship niya to those two vertebrae. Okay? So yan yung ita-target natin later. This one, I just want to, again, emphasize. So, kanina, yung pinakita ko, blood supply. Ito, it's the relationship of the nerve and the spine. And so ideally, it's upright. Can you imagine if this is bent forward? If you're bending forward and it's bent forward all the time, anong mangyayari dun sa exit, sa path ng mga nerves na yan? Pati dito, ma-affect sila. Pati dito sa lumbar area na dapat yung lumbar natin merong curvature na, ayan, pa-forward. But most of us, well, maybe not most of us, I assume too much. Ngayon, pay attention to how you're sitting down. Kamusta naman yung lumbar area mo? Naka-curve backward din ba siya? Pag ganito ba yung curve niya? Or naka-forward? So, again, I can't see all of you, but check that out for yourself. Check out kung ano yung posture nyo. Okay, and again, the posture affects blood supply and then also the path of the nerves coming from the spine. And diba remember I said kanina in that example where pag may I will get ahead of myself again. So moving on to the bulk of our session, which is actually training your vagus nerve para, you're ready to face the world. Number one is you need to correct your posture. So, pili kayo kung sino kayo dito. Siguro maraming tao, ito, si on guard. Kasi yan yung usual na stereotype na macho, di ba? With your chest out, your shoulders back, and you're trying to make yourself look bigger. But posture, and that's why I was explaining a lot kanina, posture is something that we take for granted and we don't realize how big an effect it can have, not just on the physical body, but also mentally and emotionally. Again, think lang of body language. If you're always in a head forward position, you're hunched over, that's the position the body assumes when you are sad and disappointed and dejected and afraid. Again, it's a two-way street. And then here, so most of us are right now sitting down, and most of us will probably have, naka-hunched over position. Ito especially, yan. Ito at saka ito. Can you imagine, all of our internal organs are here. They're in the cavity of our body. Tapos kung ganyan yung posture mo, you're kind of squishing them all together. So okay, let's try another example to show how posture can interfere with the way your organs work. So again, all of you kind of do like this, hunched position. Naka-curve, yung nakahukot. To be honest, a lot of people have this posture, nakahukot, naka-head forward. And then while and have your head like really forward. And then I want you to try and take as deep a breath as you can. So, hinga ng malalim. Yung pinakamalalim na kaya mo. And just notice how that feels. Tapos, sit up. Parang itong nasa correct posture. Sit up with your back straight, with your head upright. And then, hinga ka ulit ng malalim. May napansin ba kayong difference?
While doing it, Doc, parang there's a lot of difference in terms of breathing.
Mm-hmm.
Sitting up better or with better posture, you get better breathing. It's more clearer for me. I'm not sure with everyone. Maybe you can share also how you guys feel. Yes, Miss Carla also says she has better breathing.
I will assume most of you notice the difference. Pag nakahukot, your lungs, can't expand as much as they can because you're crowding them forward. And your ribs can't really move and expand the way that they should because again, you're crowding forward. And if you imagine also all of yung mga bituka natin na nandyan, nasi-squish together din sila. So, diba, kung imagine ilan ba tayo on the call? 150, let's say. If we had to work, in an office that was, and I'm exaggerating because I don't really have a good spatial, in 100 square meter office, di ba sobrang sikip nun? Mahirap gumalaw, mahirap magkakainisan tayo, hirap magtrabaho. Versus if you had enough space to do your work and there are no obstructions anywhere, mas madaling magtrabaho. And that's a rough analogy, but our posture affects the way our organs are positioned, and that can affect the way they function. So, pinaka-obvious na yung sa lungs. Some people, di ba, ang isang symptom ng anxiety is parang kapos sa hinga. Di ba? Parang hinabol yung hinga. Pag ninervous tayo, then we really tend to breathe faster and shallower. But it might be, and I have some people like this na ma-diagnose sila with anxiety. Mayroon ako isang patient na alala. Pero ano niya, Dok, wala naman akong dahilan para yung anxiety and depression para maging anxious or maging depressed. So, hindi niya naiintindihan. But again, hindi kasi lahat ng mood issues ay nasa brain, ay nasa mind lang or nasa pag-iisip lang. Sometimes they're body-based. And then if you start fixing, like the posture, fixing nutrition, again, and getting out of topic, the mood can also improve. Okay. So, number one, I hope everyone has taken note of their posture and are now kind of sitting up a bit straighter with your head, a bit more upright, and just see how that feels. I know a lot of us, after a while, nakakangalay ito, tapos babalik dun sa dating posture. Tapos may mapapansin mo, ay, nakahukot na ako ulit, tapos you'll sit up again. Again, that's why it's called training. We've trained our muscles to assume a certain posture because yun yung lagi nating ginagawa. It's not necessarily the most efficient or the best, but yun yung nakasanayan. So, training involves doing something over and over and over again, like the Olympic athletes, until it becomes automatic. So you need to train your posture. And I hope I've given enough reasons why it's something you should not take for granted, but you should actually be more conscious of. Okay, that's one. I guess I just throw it in there. There are even devices, there are consumer devices now to help correct posture. Mayroong isa na ilalagay mo siya dito sa likod mo. Nakalink siya sa phone. I think nakalink siya sa phone. I'm not sure. But every time mahuhukot ka, papangit yung posture mo, magsisend siya ng signal. Pero medyo magtitingle siya. Which is a reminder na, oops, okay, wait, I need to sit up again. So, ganun ka-important si posture. Okay? And then, looking at the time siya. Wait, okay, no. Before I get ahead of myself. This is where I will teach you the exercises to realign C1 and C2, the first two vertebra natin. So before we start, I want all of you to check yung range of motion ng leeg nyo. So I want you to look to the right and you look to the left. And then I just want you, pansinin nyo lang, meron bang limitation yung movement nyo? Medyo mas nakakatingin kayo sa kaliwa, pero sa kanan di masyado. Meron bang any tension, may any pain when you turn your head? So I just want you to check that out. And then we'll see after we do the exercises kung merong nag-shift, may nag-improve. Okay, so I want all of you to do that. Okay lang ba if okay, I'm gonna stop sharing muna. Is it okay if I ask people to open their videos?
Yes, Doc. Everyone, for all those who can
Yes.
open their cameras, please do. And we're going to be doing an exercise all together.
And I want to be able to see your faces, your heads, your eyes. And then maybe so na-try nyo na yung range of motion ng leeg nyo.
Cam na po tayong lahat.
Okay. Meron bang may limitation of movements? I guess hindi ko na keep checking my time because sometimes I ramble on. Okay, so just take note. I won't ask na for sharing. Just take note kung meron kayong na-feel na limitation of movement, kung meron kayong any pain or tension. Okay, so just remember that. Now, before I teach you yung exercises, meron akong gustong ipa-feel sa inyo. So, you take your your fingers. Okay, and I'm going to ask you to feel, and turn around. I want you to feel where your skull connects to the top of your neck. So, dyan sa may batok. So, one hand on each side. You can feel it. And I want you to close. So, keeping your head straight, feeling yung batok niya. I want you to close your eyes. So, again, close your eyes so they're not distracted. Just close your eyes. Lovely, and close your eyes. And, okay, keeping your head straight, not moving your head. Just move your eyes to the right, to the left, several times. Right, left, right, left. And then, pansinin nyo kung may mararamdaman kayo under your fingertips. It's a very slight movement. But you'll feel something moving. And you can also move your eyes up and down. I hope most of you are able to feel that. It's easier to feel it pag nakapikit kayo. Kasi yung attention nyo mapupunta more on the... Okay, may naramdaman kayo? Okay, great. So at least some of you felt it. Kung the others na hindi nakaramdam nun, okay lang. It doesn't mean hindi siya nangyayari siya. And what I wanted you to feel was the suboccipital muscles. Okay. Connects the skull to the top of the neck. And how moving our eyes actually moves the suboccipital muscles. Okay? Kasi, kaya nyo ma-feel yun. Kasi yung ituturo kong exercise, yung number 1, very important yung eye movement. And baka ma-weirdahan kayo, sabihin nyo, sabi ni Doc, leeg yung i-adjust. Bakit mata yung ginagalaw ko? Because the eyes are connected and moving the eyes moves the suboccipital muscles. To do the actual exercise, and remember, yung goal nito is to realign those bones, the spine, para gumanda rin yung pathway ng vertebral artery, para gumanda yung blood supply to the brainstem and to the vagus. So, ideally, the first time you do this, nakahiga. Pero hindi naman pwedeng nakahiga. But you're going to intertwine your hands and you're gonna cradle your head. You're just gonna cradle your head. As if, pretend if you're lying down and you're cradling your head, right? Okay, and you're gonna put a little pressure on the back of your head. And it's easier to do this with your eyes closed, but for now, I need to see your eyes. Okay, and you're going to, so keeping your head forward, your face facing forward, your head straight, you're going to move your eyes all the way to the right. Like you're trying to look at your right elbow. So everyone just look to the right. I'm gonna time you. Kung parang nasa-strain yung eyes, i-adjust nyo lang. No need to, or you can close your eyes. I find that also helps. But you can see, most of you nagtatire yung eyes. Pag napagod, balik nyo lang to the right. Remember, the eyes are affecting the muscles at the back of your head. And we'll hold that for 15 more seconds. 5 more seconds. Okay, now bring your eyes back to center and just take a rest there. And then now, bring your eyes all the way to the left. And you want to be keeping your face forward. Just your eyes lang ang gagalaw. And again, don't strain. Kung medyo masakit sa eyes, i-adjust nyo lang. Kung naduduling, pikit nyo na lang yung mata nyo. And you'll hold that again. I'll time you. So yung challenge dito is keeping your face facing forward. So you might need to practice this pa. Okay, so face facing forward. 10 more seconds. Okay, that's done. You can bring your arms down, face forward. That was the first exercise, but I already want you to check kung meron nang nagbago, kung meron mang problem before. Sa range of movement ng leeg, sa any tension, nag-improve ba, lumuwag ba. And this one I want, if kung meron, sabi ni Gonzalo, there was a lot of cracking from moving the neck. Okay. So, did any of you notice slight changes already? Yeah, I see some people nodding their heads. Okay. So, yun yung first. The goal is to realign C1, C2. Sabi ni Gracie, lumuwag. Yeah. I have a lot of patients na parang, ang galing! Wala akong ginawa, mata ko lang yung ginalaw ko, pero nag-shift. So, the next exercise, it's called the half salamander. the salamander exercises. So half salamander, tapos reverse half salamander. And this time, may head movement na. Pero you're keeping your head, your face facing forward pa din. So watch me first. Watch me first. So you're keeping your head forward, your face forward. You're going to, again, we're going to use the eyes. You're going to look all the way to one side. So I start with the right, usually. And then you're just going to bring your ear, your right ear, towards your right shoulder. So to help me with this, sometimes I just tip my head over. And then you're looking to the right. And you're gonna hold that position. Okay? Ang challenging dito, kaya minsan kailangan meron kang magsa-spot sa'yo or i-check mo yung sarili mo sa salamin. Ang challenging dito, if you notice, when we look to one side, naturally sumusunod yung ulo, di ba? Okay, so ang challenging dito is you need to look to the right, and then you're looking like that. Minsan gaganyan ka, minsan mapapatingala ka, so naiiba yung head. So ako, ang minsan ginagawa ko, hawakan ko yung tenga ko, sige, ganyan ko siya. Para lang alam kung hindi siya nakaganon. After a while, you'll get it. Okay, and then, after that, we're gonna do the other side. So look to the left. Even I need to straight, look to the left, and then just drop your... And ang gusto kong i-emphasize dito, we're not stretching the neck. Okay, we're not stretching the neck muscles. So kunyari, kung hanggang dito lang kaya nung head tilt mo, hanggang dyan lang. Kung very slight lang, hindi natin point na go as far as you can and stretch the muscles here. That's not the point. Okay, remember, we're using the eyes. We're just kind of shifting the position a little para ma-realign yung C1 and... So let's do half salamander together. Half salamander. Okay, so everyone, make sure your face is facing forward. You can see your face is facing forward. And you can... don't close your eyes yet because I need to see. And then look all the way to the right. Okay? Eyes lang ha, face forward. And then tilt your head. So your right ear is going towards your right shoulder. Kung hanggang saan lang kaya, kung hanggang saan lang comfortable. And then you can close, parang you're looking to your right shoulder. And then you can close your eyes to help with the strain, lessen strain. And I'll time you. We'll do that first. So si Doc Nancy, saka si Cyril, naka-turn yung face nyo. You need to turn it to the front. It's natural. So you turn to the front. Nakaganyan kayo. Just turn to the front. Pag you just recalibrate. Harap lang. Hindi ka nakatingala, hindi ka nakatingin sa baba, nakaharap. Okay. And then, come back up to center. Tapos we'll do the other side. So look to your left. And then drop your head, your left ear to the left shoulder. And then, yan, I kind of just tip my head over. Kung nasa strain yung eyes, adjust nyo lang. There should be no strain. Okay. You can come back to center. And then, we'll do reverse half salamander. Kaya siya reverse because this time, yung eyes natin will move to the opposite. Your head will move to the opposite side. So, okay. If you're going to look your eyes, so face forward, your eyes are going to look to the right. And then this time, if you're looking to the right, you're going to drop your left ear towards your left shoulder. Okay? Tapos the opposite ulit. Okay, so everyone make sure your head is facing forward. Sorry, your face is facing forward. Look your eyes, just your eyes all the way to the right. And then kind of tip your head over to bring your left ear towards your left shoulder. And we'll hold that. And then timing it. So ito medyo mas madali siyang gawin kasi last 10 seconds. Remember pala to breathe while you're doing this. Minsan when you're so concentrated, you forget to breathe. Okay. Now, bring your head to center, your eyes to center, and we'll do the opposite side. Face forward, eyes looking to the left. Eyes looking to the left. And then tip your head over to bring your right ear towards your right shoulder. So when you do these exercises, you need to remember to breathe. And actually, a good way to time the exercise is you count, for example, 5 or 6 slow deep breaths while you're holding the position. Okay. Okay, so bring your head to center, your eyes to center, and then check again kung may any changes sa neck range of motion, kung may any tension before, kung mas lumuwag pa, anyone notice anything, you can chat.
Oh my
Or
gosh, Doc, I'm so shocked. As
why?
in, it's very shocking na before I had such limited range of motion on my left side, pero now parang I can fully, ay, not naman fully, pero partially twist it more.
May some
Yes,
improvement.
everybody's feeling the same also.
So you did the basic, and then half salamander, reverse half salamander. The last, galing, parang yoga with science. Sabi ni Gracie, mas naging flexible na yung leg niya. Okay. Gusto sabihin si Marianne, parang yoga with science. Actually, may science din talaga yung yoga. Later, I will maybe touch on that. So I'm glad that some of you, I hope all of you, but some of you felt the difference doing those simple exercises. And we weren't targeting neck muscles, right? Okay. The last one that I'm going to teach, it's called the twist and turn for the trap. So yung traps muscle, trapezius muscle, I forgot to put a picture fit in my slides, no? But it's this triangular muscle that connects to your head, to your neck, and then to your upper back. Okay. And nung ano pa lang tayo, when we were what do you call this, babies and learning to crawl on all fours, yung buong muscle na yon, tatlo yung parts niya eh. All of that were being activated because we had to hold our head up. Diba? If you're on all fours, you need to hold your head up. And then as we learn to stand, you don't really need to hold your head up as much anymore. Like, yung trap muscles, na parang hindi na sila equally activated, yung tatlong parts. And then, lagi pa tayong nakayuko. So, lalo pa siyang nai-imbalance. So, this one, I'm gonna stand up to show you. You don't need to stand up. You can do this sitting down. But the goal of this exercise is not to stretch the trap muscles. Okay? The goal is to activate, send signals through the nerves and activate that muscle, the three parts of the muscle. And the way you're going to do this is you're going to clasp your elbows. So if you can open your, so I can see. Clasp each elbow. Three parts ng exercise na to for the three parts of the muscles. Okay? And we're going to twist your shoulders. So just the shoulders. Okay? Side to side. So the twist is the shoulders. Hindi siya yung buong torso. Hindi siya twisting from the waist. This is twisting from the waist. Hindi yon. You're going to twist just your shoulders. So if you'll notice, my hips are still facing forward. Okay, so everyone try to do that. So your arms are over kind of your belly. You'll twist your shoulders, and that will make your arms glide over your belly. So at least 3 times to each side. Make it a smooth motion, nothing jerky. Don't force anything. We're not trying to stretch anything. Okay, that's the first part. The third part is you raise your arms to chest height. And I can do this sitting down really. So you can see chest height. Same thing, you're gonna twist your shoulders. Just your shoulders, not your waist still facing forward. Okay, so I can see most of you are doing it correctly. So 3 times to each side at least. And then the last part is you raise your arms as high as you comfortably can. So kung hanggang dito lang, hanggang dito lang. Kung hanggang dito, di great. Okay, so as high as you Hindi na kailangan over the head. So maybe in front of your head. And then same thing, you're going to twist your shoulders. Twist your shoulders 3 times to each side. Shoulders lang. Ma'am. Gosh, hindi ko nakita yung name. But yeah. Remember, shoulders lang, not the torso. Okay? Okay. That's it. That's the twist and turn for the traps. The triple T. So I want to ask you feel how your upper back feels, how your neck feels. Did that make any difference pa more? Okay, so how was that? Nag-yawn si Doc Nancy. That's actually a good sign.
Really?
Yes. So actually, the exercises, yung basic exercise, yung half salamander, the instruction is really to hold that position 30 to 60 seconds or until you yawn. Or take a, parang until mag-sigh ka. Ano ba yung sigh sa Tagalog? Magbuntong hininga. Okay? Because those are signs that your system has shifted from a survival stress mode into a more relaxed mode. And then also the yawning helps us get more oxygen because it's a deeper breath. So it's actually a good sign. If you yawn, isa pa nag-yawn, good yun. Those are signs na it worked. So kunyari, ginawa niyo yung exercise, wala pang 10 seconds, humikap na kayo, okay na. You can move on to the next position. But usually, I either time it or like I was saying, count your breaths. Count 5 or 6 slow, deep breaths. Kasi if you need to look at yung watch or clock, naiiba yung position. Tapos nag-iiba yung eye movement. Eh, di ba eye movement yung pinaka-important dun sa exercises. Okay. Great. So I think naka-record naman to, di ba? So you can, if you need to go back to those exercises, you can just watch the replay. But di ba it's super easy to do? Wala pang, well, matagal tayo, mga 10 minutes, because I had to teach it. If you're doing this by yourself, 5 minutes, right? So you can do it midday, you can do it at the end of the workday, you can do it when you're feeling kind of tight na to, kasi ang tagal ng sa desk. Okay, so simple things. And remember, that's improving blood supply to the vagus nerve. That's helping relax your muscles. It's helping to improve your posture. Yung last exercise, yung twist and turn for the traps, that actually helps the trapezius muscle to hold up our head. So you're not in the forward head posture. Nice slides again. So we're moving on sa posture. Siya yung bulk kasi siya yung we take for granted but affects us in so many ways. Here are 2 other ways, going back to what you can do to train your vagus nerve, is to gargle ng nakatingala. So at least twice a day. Kung twice a day ka nagtutoothbrush, or kung 3 times a day, 3 times na yun na training. But after you toothbrush, you gargle with your... Actually, you don't need to toothbrush. You can just gargle with your head na nakatingala. But the goal here there are muscles in the back of our throat, and also part of the muscles that produce our voice is innervated by the vagus nerve. And so when you activate those muscles, that means you're using the vagus nerve. Okay? So gargle ng nakatingala for as long as you possibly can. Kung maluha ka, that's even better. Since if you gargle hard enough and long enough that it brings tears to your eyes, yun yung sabi dun sa book about the vagus nerve, because part of the lacrimal duct, yung tear duct, meron ding may some relation din siya to the vagus nerve. Okay? And then the other one, and ito madali lang gawin kasi tayong mga Pinoy mahilig tayong kumanta, diba? So you can sing in the shower, or you can sing at work, or you can hum, or you can chant. But again, that the muscles helping produce the voice are innervated by the vagus nerve. And again, if we do something, it's the nerves that we're actually activating. Plus, on the plus side, just going back to mood, di ba, kunyari pag galit ka, try mong kumanta. Either hindi ka makakanta or mababawasan yung galit mo. Or any other draining emotion. Kung takot ka, but some people you sing and it helps to dispel these draining emotions. Okay, so bonus yan. So ito, hailan na to. These, let's say at least 2 times with toothbrushing and then 1 time in the shower o tatlong training instances for the vagus nerve na yun. Diba kasi sabi natin, the Olympic athletes, they're constantly training hours upon hours every day. So yan, meron ka ng 3 built-in training times. Now, since sa mindful eating, I need to be aware of my time because this we can do a whole webinar on just mindful eating. And what I'll focus on is here about savoring the taste. Part of the tongue, di ba kanina in the earlier slides, part of the tongue is innervated by the vagus nerve. And the tongue's purpose, one of its main purpose is to detect taste. Okay, and it sends signals to the brain and to the rest of the digestive tract. So for example, merong fat, and I looked it up, they're finding na may receptors din tayo for fat, magiging basic taste na din daw yung fat in addition to salty and sweet and spicy and ganyan. But the taste is detected by the tongue. It gets sent to the brain and, and marami pang nangyayari. But for example, if you're detecting fat, that primes the gut to, okay guys, i-release natin yung bile at saka yung mga lipase, yung mga pang-digest ng fat. So, if you're eating very fast, hindi ka masyadong ngumuya, nilunok mo agad, tapos bilang hindi mo siya masyadong nanguya, kailangan may panulak kang tubig. Diba? Maraming ganyan eh. Pag walang tubig, nabibilaukan. And so, wala masyadong information na nakuha yung tongue. Kasi hindi mo siya masyadong ninuya. Tapos, you washed away the taste with the water. And so, there's no information that gets transmitted. And that kind of makes it a bit more difficult for the gut to do its work of digesting. I mean, I guess yung best example of parang of people who have trained their vagus nerve with regard to taste is pag nanood kayo ng mga cooking show, so may mga chef na they'll take a spoonful, tapos kaya nilang sabihin, oh, ito, na sobrang sa ganyan or nakulang sa ganyan. Or kaya ito yung ingredients yan, meron tong thyme and rosemary and whatever else, right? They've trained their tongues and their vagus nerve to be able to identify yung individual tastes na yun. Okay, so just savor the taste of your food, which means you need to chew it well, and then just limit water intake with meals. And like I said, this can be a yung last na training for the vagus nerve. And I think sabi ko, we're training our vagus nerve but in the inefficient ways is breathing. Yung pinaka common na cause ng vagus dysfunction is really a dysfunctional breathing pattern. So I want all of you to sit up straight with your head upright. And then I want you to take 2 or 3 na deep breaths. Hinga kayong malalim. I just want you to pay attention. Maybe put one hand on parang yung babae dito sa picture. One hand on your head, heart, other hand on your belly. And then just take a deep breath. And pansinin nyo kung ano yung mas gumagalaw. Meron bang isang part na mas gumagalaw? Kung yung dibdib mo ba or yung tiyan mo ba? O parehas lang? Okay? Nung mga napansin nyo. Okay. Hindi na ako hihingin kasi pag-ubos pala yung time ko. Sorry, yung del ko kasi. No? So, if some of you notice na mas gumagalaw yung chest ninyo, and some people pa paradoxic yung breathing. Pag nag-inhale sila, gagalaw yung chest, tapos yung chan, gagalaw pa loob. It goes in. Maybe I should show myself. Okay. Because breathing is so crucial. I'm gonna show myself. So hand on heart. If some of you took a deep breath and this is the movement that you saw, kita niyo ba? Masyado. Okay. And this is what you notice. Okay? Yung chest, nagra-rise. tas yung chan either hindi gumagalaw or gumagalaw pa loob. That's paradoxical breathing. The proper way to breathe is actually, I hope you see, hindi ko napansin nyo, mas unang gagalaw yung chan. Tapos saka lang mag-release yung chest. So that means that your lungs are expanding. Nandito yung diaphragm natin. The diaphragm is a muscle here. When we inhale, it moves downward. So yung intestines natin, napupush siya out a little. Okay? Pero pwede kong palakihin yung chan ko na walang kinalaman sa breathing. Hindi yun yung point. It's an involuntary movement. Okay, and again, this is breathing. We can do a whole other webinar for that. But I want you to just notice how oh my gosh, you didn't see me, no? Because I didn't stop sharing. No one said anything.
No, we saw
You saw me?
Yeah,
Oh yes,
yes.
because I have a video, but it's a small.
Yes.
It's not the whole screen. Sorry. Okay. Okay. Moving back to so a lot of people are chest breathers, and uso kasi yung stomach in kasi yun yung sexy, diba? Flat abs, six pack. So a lot of us assume this posture, this Superman posture, and si Superman ba usually relaxed siya or on alert? Dito usually on alert siya. He's watching out for danger. And that kind of posture and that kind of breathing sends signals to our brain and our body that guys are on alert. We're in danger, be on the lookout. And sanay na tayo, a lot of us are chest breathers. I've had patients na hirap mag-breathe, na nakarelax yung siya, na nakakagalaw ng maayos. So, I want you to practice, and then maybe we can have not necessarily a whole GTA webinar, maybe we can do something just for those who are interested and learn breathing, the proper dynamics of breathing. Sabi kanina ni Marianne, yoga with the science. Yes, science is beginning to figure out why yoga works or why meditation works. And a lot of it has to do with the vagus nerve. It activates and stimulates the vagus nerve. So practice breathing with holding one hand on your head, on your chest, and another on your belly, and just imagine your lungs filling up with air like a balloon. So kailangan umabot yung air dito sa lower part ng lungs. Kasi sa lower part ng lungs din yung pinakamadaming blood flow. If a lot of us are breathing into the upper chest, dyan yung pinaka-konting blood flow. So hindi nag-meet masyado yung air and yung blood. So yung gas exchange ni oxygen ni carbon dioxide, hindi rin as efficient as it could be. So again, and ito, we tend to take for granted again oxygen and air, and we're always concentrated on how to eat healthy and anong mga bawal at pwede. But I can starve you for a month and you'll probably survive. I can dehydrate you maybe for a week and you'll survive. But if I cut off your oxygen for just 5 minutes, that's it. Kulong na ako for homicide. But we tend to forget how important oxygen is. And our breathing plays such a big role in how good our oxygenation is. So again, things that we take for granted, which bringing to the fore. Okay. So I'll skip this because there's not enough time. And I hope, okay, it's my last slide. I hope, with the training of your vagus nerve, eventually will all be like this. We're ready to face the world. We're ready to face the challenges of this new normal, this, living in a world with COVID. Hindi ko nasabi. With training. With breathing, can you imagine how many times you breathe in a day? Thousands. So that's 1,000 instances where you can train your vagus nerve. Retrain pala, where you can retrain your vagus nerve, where you can rewire the habits of your body. It takes effort to start, but with time, it becomes a bit more automatic. Mapapalitan na yung dati mong habit. And then, pwede mo na siyang hindi isipin. Kasi yung breathing mo, bumalik na dun sa natural breathing. Nung mga bata tayo, ganyan tayo mag-breathe. You watch any baby, you'll see that their tummies move when they breathe. It's not really their chests. The tummies move first. And then the chest also expands. So yan, if the last thing you remember is, no, I want you to remember all of it, but the last thing you remember is you need to, yung proper breathing, is the best way to retrain your vagus nerve, then happy na ako. Pero sana maalala nyo rin yung neck exercise. Okay. There. That is my last slide. I think I have some time for questions.
Yes, if anybody has any question, just chat it in the chat box. Yes, we have our first question by Miss Camille. How long does it take to retrain your vagus nerve, and is it ever too late to retrain?
No, it's never too late to retrain. And how long does it take? I don't know. Because, if you're training it once in a day, it's going to take you longer. But if you're training it multiple times in the day, it's just like any other skill, if you think about it. So the more you become conscious of, let's say, proper dynamics of breathing, the more you become conscious of your posture, the faster that changes, the faster it shifts. And then it's never too late to train. And also, you need to constantly keep training. It's not like, oh, okay na, and then you go back to, as with anything, it's a constant. Yun lang, ang advantage is once mas sanay ka na, tas yun na yung baseline mo, then hindi mo na siya kailangan isipin masyado.
Thanks for that. Actually, ako, Doc, I have a question. Does having scoliosis greatly affect the vagus nerve? Is it
Okay.
connected?
I guess it depends on how bad the scoliosis is. Right? If it's a mild scoliosis, it doesn't really affect your posture. And usually yung scoliosis is a thoracic, dun sa torso part ng spine. So it doesn't affect the vagus nerve as much. But if it's severe scoliosis, then yes, kasi that also affects yung as in yung posture ng body, yung lungs and all of that. And remember, the way the lungs are expanding, that's being sent to the brain via the vagus nerve. It's this information exchange. Pero kung mild scoliosis, it's probably not an issue.
Thanks, Doc Eka. Guys, if you have any other questions, just keep it coming in the chat. But I think a lot of us were relaxed, no? And it was a very interactive session, Doc, kasi nakaka-relax mo talaga. And a lot, the exercises really helped in our range of motion. So thank you, Doc, for that very informative learning session. We all loved how the theme was really how to train your dragon because we can truly train our vagus nerve. And we were greatly enlightened by how not only does the vagus nerve affect us physically but also mentally, especially with what's happening all around us. Like I said, it was a very enriching learning session for all of us, Doc. Thank you very much. Oh, sorry, we have another question by Sir David. Can common everyday stretching also train the vagus nerve, or does it have to be targeted routines? Mm-mm.
David, you can use everyday stretching to train your vagus. You can actually take any activity and kind of, if you bring the element of breath in. So sometimes if you're stretching, whatever. But if you make it more conscious where you're stretching and you're also paying attention to how you're breathing, and if you notice, it's a very common for those who do yoga, diba? You'll notice that you can stretch more with the breath. So, example, you take an inhale, and then as you exhale, you can extend the stretch a bit more. Take another inhale, on the next exhale, you extend it a bit more. So, in a way, yes, you can use the common stretching to train the vagus nerve. Bring in the element of breath. Dude, you can use peeing as an instance to train your vagus nerve. While you're peeing, practice deep breathing. Practice slow deep breathing. Like I said, breath is the best way to strengthen your vagus nerve and the parasympathetic nervous system. because you're doing it anyway. You can't not breathe. It's impossible. You cannot breathe and be alive. So
Yeah, that's great. Just like what Doc said, no, we can really train our Vagos anywhere we are, wherever we are, and whatever we may be doing. So like what I said, thank you, Doc, again for that very, very, very informative and interactive session. We would also like to thank everyone for taking time and attending our webinar today. On behalf of Sir Joey, the GTA Academy, and UCLub Corporate IT, we wish you a nice and safe day. Happy Friday, everyone. And thank you again for joining us today. Goodbye, everyone. Thanks, Doc. Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you, Doc.
Thank you.
thank
Congrats,
you.
Doc Eka. Thanks, Gina.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Very much.